Neha, you can go first.
Okay. So as for me, when I was in the second year of college, that was when I was trying to understand what I would like to pursue. Of course, I had mathematics as an option, but I wanted to explore more as to how I can use mathematics in other fields. Um, Honestly, in the second year, one of my teachers told me that I should go into management. That's when I started considering business as an option, because I in college I really liked organizing things and strategizing how to do stuff and like things like that. So that's when I decided that maybe I'll go for this. In my second year, I started preparing for business entrances and stuff. No, in my third year, I think. And that's when I started looking for more options. Going abroad was not one of them until the last minute. I hadn't thought of or even applied for universities abroad. Um, so yeah, but as to why I chose business, oh, I forgot to tell my course. My course is Masters of Business Administration in International Business and Strategies. So why? Yeah, I told why I chose it, but more than that, I felt like the analytical skills that we had learned during the 3 years of graduation were really helpful even while I was applying. And when I found how market research was done, so under the guidance of Monica ma'am, we also did a market research. That's when I also got interested into markets, and I wanted to find out how markets work and stuff. So yeah, that's roughly how I got interested into business.
For me, I knew that I wanted to do economics since I started. I knew that, but I was public policy was something new to me because I was thinking of pursuing pure economic masters. But then when I started applying, I felt that I had learned a lot of math in my in the 3 years, and I just needed a break. So that's why I went for public policy. And even though I can choose mathematical electives here, so it's a mix of everything that I've learned and everything I can do with it. So it's a little broader than math. So that's why I chose this.
Um, Aditi would also like to know, like, how did you decide on doing pure maths, like continuing with maths in masters as well?
Yeah. So when I was in my second year, I was actually very active in research internships and all. So I did a couple of them, and that's when I started enjoying maths. Other than that, I always knew I wanted to do, something in pure maths. So yeah, I started applying in my third year. Yeah, that's how I got interested in this course.
um, Give a great insight that they'll really help a lot of us who are not very clear on what to pursue after our
Yeah.
graduation. Um, Another question that I have for you
Yeah.
guys is, when is
Sorry
the
to
right
interrupt,
time to start
Priyanka.
planning to start?
Yeah, Priyanka, sorry to interrupt. Actually, what we are thinking, like, you people can enjoy, can have the question answer rounds. We teachers can leave. I think you will be more comfortable, na, interacting with, like, you people will be more comfortable अगर teachers नहीं होंगे यहाँ पे.
Uh, yeah, right. You can discuss your Mann Ki Baat frankly, and juniors can ask questions. So we'll leave you girls to discuss and enjoy the session and learn more from your seniors. And Neha, Manali, and Aditi, I wish you all the very best. Pursue your courses very efficiently and with full enthusiasm. Good luck,
Thank
girls.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good to see you all, Aditi, Manali,
Yeah,
and Neha,
it's great
and
to see you. Yes.
congratulate and
Thank
good
you.
wishes to all of you, and good wishes from Dr. Indrakshi and Dr. Rashmi as well.
Yeah,
Thank
from the
you.
Thank
whole
you.
department. We are
Thank
proud
you,
of you,
ma'am.
girls.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, girls. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Bye
ma'am, for
bye.
Bye.
joining.
Bye. Vanchika, in case of any issue, you can give me a call. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, beta. Thank you. Bye bye, all. Take care.
Bye bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, so I'll repeat my question. I wanted to know that what is the right time to start planning to study abroad? Like, when do you begin with the entire procedure?
So I'll go first.
Sure.
I mean, can I?
Yeah,
Okay, so I started quite early. I started in from first year onwards. I knew I wanted to do go abroad and do it. So in the month of July 2020, I was applying for Rhodes Scholarship. So I think that's when I started the whole process. And yeah, I started it quite early. So what I'd suggest is, if you know you're going to apply, essays take a lot of time and they're very crucial for your application. So start as early as possible and build your resume according to whatever course you'll be doing.
when did you give your GRE or GMAT? Did you give? Or
It wasn't needed. Yeah.
so if you want to give your GRE or GMAT, then you should start preparing for it pretty early on. And even though it's easy because we are maths people, so it's comparatively easy. But then I think I gave mine in December 19, and I gave and I start because no, I think sorry, I gave mine in November 19, and because there were a few deadlines, early admission deadlines in December, so then I started applying from December onwards. But then it would depend. You would have to look at your own course preferences and what are their deadlines. So you should start looking that up and keep track of the early admission dates and everything. Uh, yes, and you shouldn't if IELTS is required, you shouldn't really worry about it because after you get your admission, then only you should like give your IELTS because it's like a very preliminary test and doesn't really like you just have to give it and just be done with it. So you shouldn't really stress about it. And yeah, I think that's it.
Also, I'd like to add something. There are some universities who ask you to give your IELTS result after you have an offer from them, but I think that is mostly in the UK. So yeah, if you're applying for that, then you can of course relax for IELTS for
No,
now.
but you can submit your application without IELTS, and then if when you get the offer, so they'll send you a conditional offer letter, and in that they'll say that your IELTS is required, so then you can submit your IELTS.
But this is not for Germany, I think, because there you have to submit it with your application. Germany or Switzerland, one of these places. Yeah, I mean you can read on the site.
Yeah, because a lot of people have asked me that should we worry about IELTS, so I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. As for me, I absolutely agree with what two of my friends have said. Uh, but just in case a lot of you guys who are in your third year now and probably have not planned yet to go abroad, then I'll give you an answer as in what was my case. So as for me, I hadn't planned to go abroad at all. I did not apply to any university abroad. I had aimed at IIT, and that was my second option. And I don't know. Okay, I'll just tell it to you as a story. But what happened was that because of COVID, I was waiting for the result of IIT Madras. It got delayed to May, and before that, after I'd given my interview for IIT Madras, after that, I got to know about the scholarship through which I came to Korea. It's called the Global Korea Scholarship, and I just by chance applied to it because I was not doing anything at that time, so I just thought I should give it a shot because the scholarship that I went through is a fully funded scholarship, and it gives you a stipend to live here. So it was pretty convenient. So I just applied to it, and apparently IIT Madras's results were delayed to June, and that was when the result of this scholarship was also about to come. So somehow both the results came on like a difference of 2 to 3 days, which is how I got the option to decide on either I should go to IIT Madras or Seoul National University. So honestly, even if like of course, if you're like really planning to go abroad, then and you're going through you're planning to go to university that needs GRE or other examinations, you need to prepare beforehand. But there are a lot of scholarships available through which you can go to certain universities that you are planning to go. And for that, of course, don't wait for the last minute. But if even if you're in your third year, you can now try and begin your preparations. Yeah.
These were very helpful. Since you mentioned that there is a variation in requirements for application in different countries, so how did you decide upon which country will you apply for? Like, what was it like?
Do you want to go first, Aditi? Okay, I'll go. So I had I mostly looked at syllabuses, and US syllabuses didn't really attract me because there were a lot less credits than actually were being taught in UK and Europe. So I just considered Boston University and none other university in US. And then in UK I got into Warwick, and I got into the 2-year program at LSE, and I got into but in UK the point was, because I wasn't coming from economics honors, so I had to do the diploma first, and then I had the 1-year master's degree. So it was a lot of repetition of what I had already studied. And here in Italy it was a 2-year master's course, which actually had a lot of different courses over the 2 years, and it was pretty well planned. And when I was considering between UK and Italy, then I decided to go with Italy because I had heard more better stuff about job placements from here, and it's more organized than UK, because in UK apparently, like, I talked to a few seniors and they were just like, they just let you be like, you are on your own there completely, but here you have, like, the university supports you. So like, it's better if you find people who are actually studying there in your preferred university, and then you go for it. And also, like, the 1 year 2 year consideration for me was important, because I feel in 1 year you have to do your thesis, you have to settle down in a new country. So it was a lot for me. So I preferred 2 years. So that was like one of my major preferences.
Okay. As for me, why I chose South Korea was because first it was a fully funded scholarship, and I did not find any other scholarship that would not just evade all of my tuition fees and everything, but also give me money. So it's practically like I'm earning here while I'm also studying. So of course that's something that encourages you to go. But as for me, why I chose Seoul National University was because when I was in my first year, when I entered college, I joined the Model United Nations Society, and I was really that was when I came to know about the United Nations, and I started researching about it. And at that time, the then Secretary General of the United Nations, Honorable Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, if you guys interested, so like that person, he was an alumni of Seoul National University. So that time when I was in my first year and I was thinking about, oh, what are the other universities that would be good for graduate schools, you know? So I had researched on Ban Ki-moon, and I was like, oh, he's from Seoul National University. Maybe I should consider this university if I ever go go abroad. So that was my first instinct as to why I went here. Second, why I went here is because when I decided on which one to choose between IIT or this Seoul National University, I felt like because of the pandemic, most of the education in India right now is going online, and to study a course like business online I was a little. Of course, it's a beautiful school. IIT should. There's no. I'm not saying that there's any difference between the two. To me, both of them are the same. But the reason why I chose to come here is because I wanted to make more networks, for which is important for a business graduate to connect with more people, to have a more international understanding of business and markets. Which is why I decided maybe here I might have a better crowd to interact with, and I might get to learn more. Third, like South Korea nowadays, the economy is doing pretty well. And I always thought that in terms of business, if the relations between India and South Korea would be boosted, in the near future, it would be like, just like I was thinking about it a year or two ago, the economy has been growing pretty well. So, which is why I thought that, oh, studying the business here and the markets here might be something interesting. So that's how I chose here, this place.
So for me, I didn't apply to US because there was no master's program. There was directly an integrated PhD, which was for 5 years.
Yeah.
So and then I think there are certain gaps in our undergrad degree, and if I directly go and pursue a PhD, so there are certain modules that I need to go through and I need to study. So that's why I considered applying for a master's first and seeing how it goes. I applied to UK because I'm a big fan of Ramanujan and I really wanted to apply to UK. I applied to Oxford, Cambridge, and Imperial because like these were the three best places. So yeah, that's how I. Also, like since if you want to go ahead and do a PhD, I'd say it's very important to get a good supervisor, and for that, really good university, because then your application will have a lot of weightage when you will be applying for PhD. So yeah.
Right. Like it's very nice to hear that you drew inspiration from your idols and then continued pursuing in similar universities. Now, we'd really like to know everything about the application procedure since most of us are not very clear on that. Like, what all exams did you have to take and the scores that were required in those exams, the SOP, the letter of recommendations, everything that you can help us with.
So
Okay. Manali, do you want to go first?
okay, so for like you have to first see which exam is required by your preferred course. So if it's GRE or GMAT, GMAT is a little more competitive than GRE, so it's a little tougher. And for GRE, I'm like the scores vary according to the university, but I think uh, above 315 is like good enough. Like you will find a good enough university. 330 is best. Like after that, you'll get any university. And uh, I didn't really give any other exams. It was just IELTS. Yeah, SOP. So I didn't really like do it with like a consulting team or something. I just did it on my own. So for me, SOP is basically like you are explaining your life and your all the decisions that you made throughout your life and how they led up to you pursuing your preferred course. So it could like there's no right or wrong answer. It's just how well you motivate your decisions. So even if like if you had a setback or if you have a bad GPA or if anything, so you just have to write it in such a way that it explains why that happened or whatever happened. If there was like any bad thing that you think might not help you get in, you can just explain it in your recipe and just like motivate your answers better. For the letter of recommendations, I took one from Richa Krishna ma'am because she was also my Society Curiosis uh, convener, so she knew me at a better level. And I took one from I'm forgetting now. I'll check and let you know. Just come back to me. I'll see you can go.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it really depends a lot on the university. Not every universities have the same guidelines for writing the SOP. So to whichever university you're applying, I'd suggest you first go and just have an idea of what they want you to write. So if you're then I'd say start pretty early for your essays and all, because most of the applications start in September. So I'd say it doesn't matter when you apply. Like even if you'll apply in January, February, you will have a good chance to get your offer by April. So you can start working on around October because then in December you have exams, right? So October is a good time to start with your SOP. So you have enough time to keep going through your drafts and redrafting it. Then for exams, as Manali Di said, it's very easy to crack IELTS and you don't need any preparation for that. Then for recommendations, I there were some universities that asked for 3 letters and some for 2. So I took my recommendations from Alka ma'am, Anu ma'am, Anu Saxena ma'am, and Monica ma'am, and Rama ma'am. So yeah.
I just found out. So I got mine from Alka ma'am, Rama ma'am, and Richa Krishna ma'am. Those were the three I got.
As for me, I did not apply to the university directly. I applied through the scholarship. So someone sent that scholarship guideline on our class group. So there are basically, so I can tell you about the scholarship because it will be more beneficial to you. So the first round is from the Ministry of Education, the then Ministry of Human Resource Development. They scrutinize the all the candidates, and about like half of them are scrutinized and selected. After which they send it to the Korean embassy. There you have to give an interview and stuff like that. Then your applications are sent to. So you have an option to select 3 universities, 3 Korean universities. I chose the top 3 universities in Korea, and then after that, those universities scrutinize you, take your interviews, and then you get into it. So it's like a 4-month procedure. It's super long, and there are several rounds. You need a statement of purpose. If you have an IELTS score, it's like it gives you bonus points. Also, if you have a Korean language proficiency score, which I didn't have, so I don't really know if that is beneficial, but maybe it is. And then, of course, the most important thing which I felt for the scholarship was the letters of recommendation, which I got from Indrakshi ma'am and Monica ma'am, because Monica ma'am was my research mentor, and Indrakshi ma'am was the head of the department at that time, or TSC. So yeah, and then your statement of purpose is really important because it reflects what you're going to do and how you're going to be of benefit to the country that you're going or to the university that you're going. And of course, in masters, most of the programs require you to have a thesis or like have a future plan. So it's good if you have a good plan according to what you want to do in the future, and it should be something that is like practical and not just anything. So I think statement of purpose and that one more thing, SOPs, and what is the other thing that they ask for? Something.
CV.
Yeah, CV, and I think purpose of some no statement of purpose, and there's one more thing which I can't remember, but
Personal profile.
maybe something like that. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. So that's important. Also, I feel like most of the universities, Indian or abroad, I feel like they really focus on extracurricular activities or like research work. Those are like the brownie points. So if you have them, like specifically a particular to your course, it's better. But in general, if you have a nice resume, it's good. So it's good to be active in college and active in research work and stuff like that. Um, yeah, pretty much that. Of course, you might have interviews, you might not have. The good thing about COVID pandemic, the only few good things, of course, nothing was good about it, but the fact that we became more comfortable with virtual interviews was kind of something that was a good experience for me. And apart from that, yeah, that's what I remember.
Talking about research, Neha, we all know that your research paper just got published. Big congratulations on that. And we'd like to know, like, could you please tell us something about it and how and if it helped in your college application? Or
As for me, Seoul National University, I've heard it's a very research-based university. So I somehow I don't know if it. Of course, it might. I don't know what the scrutinizing procedure was, but probably it would have helped me. As for the publishing, I would say we started the work in 2018, 2019, somewhere around that. 2019 we went to our first international conference in Delhi itself, and that's where we presented our research. It wasn't just me, it was me and Vidhi and Yukti, 3 of us together. We went to the international conference, and after that we went to a lot of different competitions where we presented the research. So it kind of like gave us more of like an insight. We every time we went to a competition, we learned more about our research from the people who were judging us. So that was a good experience. After that, the first edition of our research, the first version, which was only monofractal analysis, was published in Ramjas Economic Review back in 2020. And after that, we got a call from the international conference almost about a year later that, oh, your paper has been selected to be published in our journal. And theirs was a Springer journal. So we were like, we don't want to give up this opportunity. But again, the problem was that we had already published like the monofractal analysis on Ramjas. Just a second. Uh, in the Ramjas Economic Review. So what we did was we obviously had to add more to it. So we had to start with multifactorial analysis, and that's what we did in during the pandemic. We did it at our homes. So we had Monica ma'am constantly guiding us on what would be better, and then we had to do the calculations and stuff. Of course, the three of us, we worked together to find out what would be a great middle ground for the Springer Journal, and after a year, so it took 1 year, about a year for that, and then it was. Can you hear the notification?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just a second. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it got published. It's yeah. Thanks for the congratulatory message. If you guys are interested, I think there are great mentors in our college. The teachers would be really glad to guide you through all the research and stuff. And of course, if you're interested, you should contact your teachers to help you out with what you want to research. You should have an idea in your mind. So we were asked to prepare a layout of what we want to do, and after that, only we were able to, carry it out. So the idea was ours. You have to do all the work, but there'll always be someone to guide you. So yeah.
Thank you
I
so
would
much.
just like to
Sure.
add, like, obviously research is like very important, and specifically outside, they are expected to write a bachelor thesis also. So like it'll put you at the same level as other people who are in the same course as you. So like if you have the opportunity, you should definitely go for it.
Yeah, and I'd say even if you do not have a clear idea of like, or like you're facing any issues with, drafting a print of how you're about to go with the research, you can always go to the teachers. They're very helpful. Yeah. So, I mean, you can just go and you can tell them you want to do a project, and if they'll find anything suitable for you, they suggest you and they'd help you also. So, there are a lot of ways.
Those insights are really helpful. I would also like to know, it's a question that most of us have, is how important are internships, like while applying for any of the universities abroad? Um, any of you can go first.
So I think it's definitely important because everybody here has done a bunch of internships already, and in India it's still like pretty chill in doing internships or not. So it is important. I think it's more important than even academic grades, and yeah. So like it should look like you have had experience and you know what you're doing, and I think it's pretty important.
Yeah. Plus, if you're the other admission people really want to see that you're interested into the course and you're willing to go an extra mile to do some research in it, and that really helps with your application. So if you want to go for a research based masters, then it's, I think, very good if you show them that you've had some internships in the past based on the research, and you should be able to talk about them if needed, like if your program asks for an interview, and you should be able to write about them in your statement to show them that yes, you're actually very interested into the course. So they're very important.
Yes, and even if you don't find internships in companies, there are so-called project works that you can find in ISI and IISCs, where you can go and it's kind of an internship. It's not like an internship; it's more like a project work. But as of the interviews that I attended, it kind of calculated equivalent to an internship. So you can go there, and there are a lot of professors that come to college to give on talks and stuff, you can go and talk to them, or you can there are projects that are done by ISI and IISC called summer projects, or like summer young project and stuff like that. You can just go and email your resumes, kind of stuff like that, and maybe you can get an internship or a project work under some senior professor. So that would be really good, especially if you get from some elite Indian government organizations, or that would be really helpful.
Right. Also, since Manali mentioned that she had applied for universities in US, like how did you plan on overcoming the 4-year degree issue? And if either of you also others
So,
can.
like I mentioned, I was only interested by Boston. I did get the admit from there, but like looking at other syllabus, it didn't really attract me. But as long as I know, Canada focuses more on the 4 years rather than US. In US, it's flexible. If you have other things to show on your resume, then they can excuse the 4 year criteria. But I'm not sure about that.
One of the very like difficult things for all of us to decide upon is like how to deal with finances. I know Neha has mentioned about the scholarship that she applied for and got the college through it. Other than that, like how expensive is it, or like if did you guys apply for any scholarships slash like received any scholarships as such? Um,
You can go for bank loans, and like I think yeah, you can go for bank loans. PNB offers a very less interest on the loans, and I think you'll be able to pay them back also in 1 to 2 years. So it's good. You can go for these options.
In UK, there's a specific Chevening scholarship, but like the deadline is pretty early, so you need to take care of that. But in from for my university, I did get like a scholarship like from the university. So, but also you can apply for here, like you have to get a certificate made, ISEEU, that's specific to Italy, and then you given an income bracket based on your parents' income, and they calculate that, and then you can get some weightage of money, like scholarship. So that's need based, but there's also merit based. So they're both the scholarships.
Yeah, also, when you're applying for scholarships, I'd say just go through the terms and conditions of the scholarships, because there are some scholarships which will ask you to go back to your country for a few years. Like, I think Chevening asks you to stay in the country for 2 years after you did the course, to like stay in India for 2 years after you do the course. So,
No clue.
Also, I feel like this is something that I heard from other people, but like when you're deciding on which university you should go for and planning on finances, I feel like you should always think about the rate of return, or like ROI. So you should think about how much of the investment that you're putting, how much would it come back. So accordingly you can decide on which university you are gonna apply for. This is something that I heard while I was preparing for my business entrance, so I just thought it would be good for you guys to know.
But also, like all these scholarships have a way earlier deadline than the admission deadline. So you should be aware of those deadlines.
Uh, right. Thank you so much. They will really help a lot of us. On another question that I have is, were you guys in touch with any of the agencies before, like applying to different universities? Like, do you have any special tips that we should keep in mind?
So I'd suggest not to go for any agency, because I think you know yourself better than they know you. So it's always good to write your essays as you would write them, and yeah, and you can also ask your friends, seniors, to proofread them for you. So yeah, I'd not suggest going for any agency.
I just did go for Manya for GRE because they had a bunch of mocks. So if you want to go for mock practice, so that was good enough for me.
I'm not aware of any agencies, so I don't know if I should or should not recommend them.
Right. Thank you so much. Uh, like, what would also really like to know what is the life like at the university. I know Aditi is just still quarantining and hasn't been able to explore a lot, but I would like to know what is it like at the university.
Neha, you can go first.
As for me, I haven't joined Seoul National University yet. So under my scholarship, you have to learn the language here for about a year, and then you can go to study your masters. And I feel that's fairly good because it's quite essential here to know the language. Kind of survival is difficult if you because if you're not in the capital city, it's kind of difficult. So I feel like they make us more acquainted with the culture. In this one year, they make us do cultural programs, and like they make us learn the language, and we have to achieve a particular level of language. And so right now, I'm only like with all foreigners. I'm not really in touch with like the Korean people as such. But our teachers are Korean. And I feel like for me, it's like a really great experience because I got to connect with a lot of people from very different countries. Everyone is from a different country, and we are learning a different language. So the struggles are the same for all of us, even if we are from different countries. So we kind of connect despite the fact that we have huge cultural differences. And I think the campuses here are really beautiful. The weather is good. Weather is kind of like India, like Delhi, particularly. And yeah, you. I mean, I'll just say that if you're planning to go abroad, you need to be used to a lot of hardships in your life. I mean, it's difficult to live alone. As for me, it's my first time living away from my parents, and I was always at home with my parents, so it's kind of difficult for me. And of course, it's difficult to get acquainted with the food, the taste, and everything. But as of now, like this month, I'll be completing about 7 months in Korea, and every month it keeps getting better. So I hope that I have better experiences. I don't know what it would be like when I'll be pursuing my like actual course, but as of now, I met like really good teachers, really good people, and I'm learning a new language. So since childhood, I was really interested in learning new languages. My first dream was being a linguist, so I'm happy with that. So it's kind of good, but there are tough parts too.
Okay, so for me, my since I came late and everybody had started their course before me, so it was a little difficult to adjust because most of them had their own groups already, and I was like a newcomer there. But also specifically in my course, there are a lot of people who've done their graduation, their undergrad from Bocconi, and then they're pursuing their masters there. So in my course, that there's specifically a lot of Italians, but like I still have like a lot of diversity, and you get to know different cultures. The language barrier does exist, so here I am. We have to learn Italian with our course, so it's a 4 credit course here, and goes in a degree because most jobs here, in Italy specifically, they want you to know Italian at B1 level. So here the university makes sure that when you are out of the university, you know the language. So I'm doing that along with my academic courses, and yeah, about the food and everything. So uh, I didn't know how to cook when I came here, but then it was very different for me because I thought I won't cook, but then I learned to cook, and it's just something I enjoy now. But then also like for me, it's like the food like in Italy is obviously like delicious, so it wasn't like a huge barrier for me to cross. But yeah, I know a few people, few Indians who came and they left within 2 months because they wanted to go back home, and then they came back now this year. So a lot of people went back home during the summer, but I didn't really. I had my internship in the summer, so I went to Belgium. But yeah, it's definitely a huge adjustment. You need to know that like you'll be away from your family, so it's just yeah.
Right. We'll also be encouraging questions from the audience members. So if you have any questions, you can either put it in the chat box or unmute yourself and speak. I do have another question for you guys, which is like what all jobs are what all jobs are you looking forward to post your courses? Like what are the prospective jobs that you are looking forward to, and what is the scope post whatever course you're pursuing?
So I'm looking for jobs in international organizations or think tanks and research institutes. Uh, I want to go for more research-based internship, research-based jobs, and uh, during my summer, I interned at United Nations University. So that was a great experience. And I think like you have to like you won't obviously get something offered on in your lap. You have to work hard for it. You have to find internships away from like the portal. So like our portal on our university's portal does offer interesting opportunity, but then you have to look away from that and find jobs that suit you. And uh, yeah, but I don't think like you are on the same level as other people studying with you. Like I don't think there's a considerable and people and some organizations do prefer diversity and they prefer Indians. So it's up to like the kind of jobs that you want, but I would want to go for yeah, international organizations.
As for me, I am thinking as of, of course I can't really say what would be the situation in the next 2 years, but obviously I want to look into the big Korean conglomerates in India, like Hyundai, Samsung, LG, and stuff like that. And there are a lot of like Tata and others working here in Korea. So of course, I want to look in for jobs that are more about India Korea relationships in terms of markets and business. That's my aim as of now. Maybe it would be more clear by the time I'm in my masters. So yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Neha, why did you like consider going for like MBA in Korea instead of like CAT? Like that's just something I wanted to
Yeah.
know.
Honestly, I for me when I was thinking about whether I should go to Korea or I should stay in India, first of all, the pandemic was a big problem because, of course, at that time, I didn't know. I had an opportunity to do business in IIT Madras, but then, of course, the course was entirely online at that time. And as per here, I felt like the reason why I wanted to take up business is to research on the markets. And while I was researching which would be great markets to study at that point, I found that the Korean market was like really doing well in terms of entertainment and in terms of the economy being a boom at that time. So back, like I think in the last few months, I read that it was one of the only economies that was able to have a good positive growth during the pandemic. So I really felt that maybe doing business studies here would help me to have a better understanding of this economy and then have a better exposure of the Korean economy in the Indian economy. I felt like having a more international perspective to this would be a better idea rather than just doing it in India. Of course, doing it in India is also perfect and you have great opportunities there. But I wanted to kind of challenge myself to do something different from what everyone has done. So, yeah, that's it.
Because my brother's doing the MBA from FMS, so I just wanted to know like why.
So for my university, for my course, you can get jobs in consulting, finance, IT. So I don't know if it is the same like in other countries, but here it's like the universities invite companies and there's a fair. Uh, each I think in October it starts. Yeah, it starts in October. As soon as you start your course, the companies start coming, and you have to go and personally meet them, and then go through the process. So it's not like we have a place. I mean, we do have a placement cell, but it's not like the companies will come, they'll arrange interviews. I think it's more like you go and meet the company, and then uh, you can also go for PhDs, of course, and then apply again starting this October. So yeah.
Right. We also have questions from the audience members. Devika asked, how do you think one can study for exams? As in any institution you could recommend, or somewhere you could enroll to have a regular class, especially, well, you're giving GMAT or GRE?
So I did go for Manya Princeton Review for GRE, but I didn't really attend regular classes there. I just went there because they had a bunch of for the material, and also because the mock exam setting was ideal for me because it was like a simulation of the actual exam. So and in GRE and GMAT, it's more, it's like a long exam, so you need to also get used to sitting in one place for a long time, and I think that's why I went for Manya. Yeah.
Do you guys have anything to add?
Um, I I mean, there are a lot of institutions that can help you prepare for exams. Of course, some people prepare themselves, and some people use the aid of institutions. I think it's good to research and read reviews. I think that would be a better option. As of now, for me, I don't have a personal suggestion because I don't know. So yeah, that's it.
Um, Aditi, do you have anything to add, maybe? Right. Okay. The next question we have is from Aishwarya. Uh, she was asked, if one pursues masters from abroad, then will it be considered for UGC for by the UGC for government jobs in India? Like when you're coming.
I mean, is I don't know. I don't think that would be a priority, but of course, if you have a master's, you have a master's. So they won't calculate it as null. You might get more information on internet, maybe by people who went abroad to study and then came back and did government jobs. But I think if you want to do government jobs, then I think doing masters from India would be quite a good option too, because you might want to do something related to the Indian economy and learn more about India. So maybe.
So, like for by government jobs, if you mean UPSC specifically, then for UPSC, you should definitely stay in India and then prepare for that exam. And it doesn't make sense to go abroad and then come back for that. But like it is obviously considered like it's a master's. So yes.
Um, Aditi, do you have anything to add, maybe? Right. The next question we have is, isn't work experience important while applying for MBA abroad? Could you recommend any other universities abroad that in the US where work experience isn't required as such?
So before deciding on whether I should have or whether I should even apply abroad or something like that, um, one of my dad's friends, who is he is someone who has a lot of information. He did his MBA from USA, and he told me that like nowadays, the trend is kind of changing, and they want young people with you know a fresh perspective to pursue MBA and business related courses rather than people having a work experience and already having a bad picture of the job or work environment. So that's something that he said that really like kind of shocked me, because I always thought that it's important to have work experience to go abroad and pursue an MBA. But yeah, nowadays a lot of universities do accept freshers for business courses. Of course, you need to have fresh ideas and ideas about what exactly business is and what do you want to pursue with business and what is the market, and basic things like that you need to know and have good and fresh ideas. Work experience is a brownie point, of course, but nowadays trends are changing. Everything keeps changing. Things keep changing every year. So there's no definite answer to this.
So what I know is that There's masters in management and marketing management and in international management, which which most freshers go for, and MBA is more for people who have adequate work experience. And what I have gotten the feedback from other people who are in these management courses, they said that it's more like you're paying more money for doing MBA when you're studying the exact similar stuff in a master's in management or other management courses. So if I think you should look at that option also, because it's lesser money. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what Manali said. It's true that Masters of Management is also a great option, and Masters in Finance is also a great option if you're looking for business. Nowadays, those are the most trending things, so you can consider them. And if you're taking Masters of Management, you can specialize in certain aspects. So, yeah, it's a good option too.
I didn't apply for the course, so I don't know anything about it.
But how did you know that you wanted to do MBA like from so early? I'm thinking of sorry, MBA nahi, PhD, because I'm thinking of considering PhD, but then I'm just like so scared of the idea of doing a PhD. So
Neha, you're doing a PhD?
no, you, Aditi, you want to pursue a PhD, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I always wanted to pursue a PhD. I am very much into research and academically inclined. So yeah, and plus I think corporate isn't for me. I'm more into academia. So
Since we have no other questions from the audience members, like, would you like to help us with one final important key tip that we need to keep in our mind while planning to go abroad? Just if anything you have from the top of your mind.
I would just like to say that don't be scared before applying. It's an experience in itself, like the whole process, even though it's pretty stressful, and it's just you learn a lot from that whole process. And even if it seems like I don't want to go through this long procedure, I don't want to write my SOP. It's just you get to know so much about your strengths and weaknesses, so you should definitely apply for it and just see what happens.
yeah, and I'd say it's very daunting, mentally very exhausting, and there will be times when you'll feel like, what if you don't get in? But I just say apply. Even if you get a couple of rejections in the beginning, that's not it. There will be acceptances. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, don't just apply to all the goody good places. Keep a balanced list of universities. Um, yeah, that's all. And proofread as much as you can your
Yeah,
document.
yeah, like you should have backup options. You should, so like what I understood from other people was that you should apply to like your dream universities, two or three of those, and then mid-level, and then you should keep at least one backup, which you know you'll definitely get into, because you never know, because of COVID, there could be a lot more applications or anything. Like you should keep a backup.
Yeah. So
Also,
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Also, like you should have a support system while applying, because you should you should feel free to have like people around you who can support you no matter what, because it's definitely pretty important.
Yeah. So again, what Manali Di said, having a balanced list is very important. I applied to all the dream places only. So I was initially very sad because I was not getting any acceptances. So yeah, just keep your list balanced.
And don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Just don't you don't need to stick to a trend. You don't need to be afraid to challenge yourself. If there is something that is for you, you'll get it. And to try, I think, is the best experience, because you never know what you end up cracking. So also what I feel is very important is to research. Keep on researching. Just because you heard something from someone is not enough. When you hear about some place, research about it, check about it, read the reviews, try to contact people on LinkedIn who are alumni, of that particular institution. There's nowadays there's so much of internet related access that we have, that we can almost just do anything. So if you have something in mind, just don't be afraid to achieve it. Just go for it.
Yeah, and I also say, I mean, it's very philosophical, but I have really started believing in it. It's that uh, when you really want to go somewhere, you'll get in. So just have full faith on your application and your profile, and yeah, don't be sad. I mean, it's very stressful, but you will get through this. So you got this. That is all I want to say.
One last thing, like you should also, like Neha mentioned, that research all the things. So you should definitely not just look at the universities which have a good name, because a lot of those universities are actually not doing that good. Like you should look at all the aspects of the university, and specifically what you'll be studying, because that's the most important aspect. What you will actually study in. And if you can pick up, like you can find books online, you can go through like a few chapters of those books and see if that actually interests you, because like obviously if you're going for maths, you know most of it, but then since my area and Neha's was a little different, so then you can always get to know if that actually interests you or not. So just like go through.
Yeah, and also one more advice, your supervisors matter a lot. And if you have a clear idea on what a dissertation topic or whatever thesis you would want to work, I'd strongly recommend you to discuss that in your application. Apply for the apply with respect to which supervisor you'd like to work with, because that's how you'll be forming connections, and maybe you can land up a good PhD also. So yeah, supervisors matter a lot, your topic matters a lot, and especially how a university is doing in your area. Like if you're applying in maths, NYU is pretty good for applied maths. So that's how you should know, which research is going on where. So if you want to apply for something in partial differential equations, you should apply to NYU. Definitely consider it. Yeah, so like that.
But I think this supervisor thing is very PhD related. I don't think you should be focusing on that for your
Yeah.
masters. And yeah, but like if you want to go for a PhD, then definitely. But I don't think that it, like you have to have your dissertation topic in your mind before applying. Like that's something
That's
you.
not needed. I mean, if you have it, it's good to discuss it.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's not that important. Is my point.
Yeah. Also, I'd say, if you want to go in academia, I'd suggest you do as many research internships as you can. But like, of course, don't overburden yourself, because I did an internship in algebra, and that's when my professor told me that Imperial is very good for algebra. So yeah, you can get to know a lot from the professors there. And in India, I think all the research institutions that are there where you do projects, the professors are really helpful, and they love helping people out. They'd even write your recommendations. So
Right. With these final words, we come to the end of today's session. I'd really like to thank you all for taking our time to help us with our doubts. The insights that you shared were really helpful. I would now like to request all of you to please put on your camera so that we can take a picture.
Done.
Right. I would like to thank you all again and wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. And Aditi, all the best for your college life, which will soon begin. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Diti. Thank you, Manali.
Thank you for inviting us. Bye bye.
Bye.
thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you
Best
guys.
of luck
Bye-bye.
for your applications.
Have a good day.